I'm also petite, but I don't know if I'm going to stay back here. So, does this work? Yeah. Okay. So, hi, good morning. I'm Sonia Vohnout, and I'm honored to be here today. So, thank you, June, for inviting me. Before my diagnosis, I was also very, very sick. I caught every cold, every stomach virus, every infection that passed by. And most people would recover from these infections in just a few days. I just wouldn't. For me, a simple respiratory or intestinal infection would turn into a pneumonia, hospitalization, or could potentially even be death. I lived on antibiotics almost every day, and I was super sick. I didn't know it then, but I was living without much of a functioning immune system. Maybe some of you are familiar with what's called the bubble boy disease. David, who lived in a bubble, I've had the privilege of meeting his mother, Caroline Demerit, and a wonderful woman. I didn't meet David because he died from severe combined immune deficiency. So I don't have the ability to make antibodies or fight even the most common germs. It wasn't until my late 20s that I finally learned why, after years of being called the sick one, or you just have a weak immune system, or you're hypochondriac. I was diagnosed with common variable immunodeficiency, which is not as severe as what David had, but it still significantly impacted my life. One CVID is one of more than 500 primary immune deficiency diseases. In addition to that, I also was diagnosed a few years ago with a CTLA4 mutation. So I have both a compromised immune system. I can't protect myself against common germs, but I also have autoimmunity. So the CTLA4 is the gene, one of the genes that regulates your immune function. So my body simply couldn't defend itself, but at the same time, it has the ability to attack its own healthy, normal cells, so it's kind of a problem. The diagnosis for me changed everything, right? Because then I was no longer a hypochondriac. There was a real reason why I was getting sick all the time. And I could finally start finding answers. And there was a therapy. It's immune globulin replacement therapy. And I've been on it for the majority of my life. And I infuse medication subcutaneously every week under my skin to replace the antibodies that I don't produce. It's not a solution, but at least it helps me prevent the majority of the infections that are out there. And I infuse every week. And it changed my life. Each vial of the medicine is made from donated human plasma. There's thousands of plasma donations are pooled and purified to extract those antibody proteins, primarily IgGs, one of those antibodies that I lack. And it takes hundreds of plasma donations every year to keep a person like me alive. And coincidentally, this month is also Plasma Awareness Month. So I'm so happy to be here because I'm raising some awareness. So each infusion is more than a medicine for me. It's both the collaboration of science and the generosity of other people who donate. And they work hand in hand. So the other thing that's important to note is that the gamma globulin that's produced from the plasma donations is super expensive. Super expensive. And so it's through innovation that we are going to find new cures and therapies, but also through innovation and research, we have to make these therapies also affordable and accessible to other patients so that they don't miss the opportunity to be healthy and live a full life, like me today. I'm healthy, I'm active, and I'm super grateful. I can hike, I can travel, but my doctors don't like that, by the way, because a lot of other patients are not as lucky as me. They have not been diagnosed, or maybe it took too long to get a diagnosis, right? Because the longer you wait to get a diagnosis, more likely you're going to get more sick, and you're going to have permanent organ damage, which will prevent you from living a healthy, productive life with a purpose. And I'm a wife, I'm a mother, and I'm also now a grandmother. And as probably some of you know, I live pretty adventurously. I take risks that most people probably don't, but that's what probably also keeps me healthy. And I live every day with gratitude. Every single day, I live with gratitude. So the gamma globulin infusions, again, let me remind you, it changed my life. So there's over 500,000 people in the United States that live with a primary immunodeficiency. But yet there's thousands who still remain undiagnosed. And we want every patient diagnosed. We want everyone to live the best quality of life that they can possibly live. And that's why research and development is so important, and we need everybody's engagement. We need innovation in diagnosis to find patients sooner. It takes on average between 9 to 15 years to diagnose a primary immunodeficiency. And the test is so simple, to just measure your immune globulins, IgG, IgA, IgM, and to do vaccine antibody titers. It doesn't cost much, but most doctors don't do that because they've been trained that if they hear hoofs, it's a horse. But guess what? It could be a zebra. Right? Also, some of us with rare diseases, we are zebras, and doctors should be more aware that there are zebras, not only horses. And so if we can identify the patients earlier, they can live a better life and a life with purpose. I'm also proud to serve on the Board of Trustees of the Immune Deficiency Foundation, or IDF, a national nonprofit that provides education, advocacy, and research support for peer connection, and for people and their families living with immunodeficiencies. The IDF is my extended family. It's part of my lifeline. It reminds us that when we have a support service, science, and community, we create a better future for everyone. So today, I want to leave you with the following. Learn. Learn about primary immunodeficiencies and other rare diseases, because awareness saves lives. So in my case, and others, think zebra. Care. Show empathy and compassion. Many immune conditions are invisible. I have an invisible illness. For years, or even today, it was like, oh, but you look so good. And guess what? You feel like shit sometimes. Right? But sometimes you still have to smile when people tell you, but you look good. And inside, you're really sick. So show empathy, show care. And now I got my notes all messed up. All right, give. Donate plasma if you can, because plasma donation literally sustains lives. Advocate, support research, innovation, and vaccination, and affordable care, access to care. With vaccination, that's super important, especially today. You know what's going on. But vaccination creates herd immunity. I don't produce antibodies. If you don't vaccinate and I get your illness, I can die. As simple as that. someone in your family can die. And so, work with your doctor. Some people legitimately cannot take vaccines. I can't take live vaccines. A live vaccine can kill me, but I depend on others to be healthy so I can stay healthy. And every week when I begin my infusion, I think about what it made it possible. The scientists, the doctors, and the plasma donors, and the researchers that are driving new discoveries. My life depends on all of them. And so does the future of every patient waiting for answers. Innovation saves lives. Compassion sustains them, and access makes them possible. So let's keep working together so every patient is found, every life is valued, and every person has the chance to live fully with strength, gratitude, and hope. Thank you.